Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of the Community Office Hours here at Modern. I'm your co-host Tim Swick, and with me is Sam Snyder.
Hello everyone, good to see all of you again.
And as always, we're going to take you through everything that is new in OpenRewrite and Modern this week. And we'll do a deeper dive on some third-party recipes this week. We look at recipes maintained and developed elsewhere that you could maybe pull in for your own use cases that could be interesting to you as well. But as always, we're going to start with just some things that are new and interesting this week. And for that, I'm going to share you some tabs. Starting with this one, where you can see that while we haven't yet done a new release this week, there have been quite a bit of developments. And I want to highlight this particular set of contributions by a friend of ours, Alex Boyko. He works at Broadcom, and he's been developing and working out a couple of issues that might have affected you if you were to migrate, let's say, a Spring Boot application from an older version to the 3.x branch. And then you'd find that maybe you were left with some not migrated bind API on your class path, or you got a dependency that you weren't expecting or didn't even need. And he's been very kind to go deep onto debugging all of that to get a number of pull requests across the line to get all of those issues finally resolved, such that both our demos, when we go to conferences, will look better now that you are not adding these issues. And of course, your software will also be better not to have the dependencies that you really don't need. Be very pleased to have those.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Alex. And you go to enough conferences, Tim, that that on-stage conference performance is a real improvement to your quality of life.
You don't want to have to quickly scroll past a certain element that you're not quite happy with. And Alex been kind enough to smoothen out the edges there. So really pleased with the help there.
Cheers, Alex. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that. So then another thing that's new this week, or not necessarily new, but that you can still try for the next month or so, is the trial that we have for the Modern IDE. So if you want to get started with all the neat tooling that we have to help you develop OpenRewrite recipes and run those at scale from your own laptop, then you can fill out this form. And from there, you'll get a license. You can use this for a month or so. And then we hope, of course, that you wish to continue beyond that month. But you can still then use it for open source developments, help to develop these recipes, maybe contribute back to us. And from there, make it such that everyone is better able to migrate their own applications. So look for those. I've shared the link, and then from there, you can have a look. Now, another thing that's new this week, as of this afternoon, is that if you haven't seen me enough, there is a new video of me online from my conference that I did back in May in Cologne, where I had a lot of fun just showing folks the things that you could be doing better when you look across repositories. So it's now online. Of course, if you've been watching the show for a while, you had a sneak preview of it. But this version, of course, is a lot more polished and not more, I don't know, well-rounded, I'd say. And Kevin already says never enough to. So I hope you will agree. But if you have seen enough of me, then maybe you'd be interested to see Sam somewhat. So those are also available. Where the No Fluff Just Stuff webinars that he's done, say part 1 and a part 2, are now online for you to view. And
those cover some basic to intermediate recipe authoring techniques. We cover recipe testing, basics of visitor patterns, LSTs, kind of all the fundamentals you need to get started with recipe authoring. So if that is something you've been considering getting into, excellent starting points.
Yes, absolutely. Because we somehow never ran out of folks new to OpenRewrite Amateur. They continuously have a new influx of folks looking to get started. And then, no better way to do it than with 2 deep dives of just getting started with recipe development. So then another video that's new this week is this one, streamline the cloud migration process with Modern. which is available from our YouTube channel, where you can see everything that you would need to maybe help you migrate towards your the cloud, coming from older technologies that you might be using on-prem. So have a look at that in our YouTube channel. And then additionally, we have another one to help you improve your check architecture and create effective governance with Modern, which you can also find on our YouTube channel. So look for those two, including the playlist that we have of sessions done at conferences, all available through our YouTube channel. And that's not enough, because of course we're continuously adding to the sessions that we'll do at conferences. So coming up next month, we're going to be at UberConf, giving a total of 4 different sessions, some of which recorded, some of them workshops, so you really have to be there. But yeah, seek those out if you're going to nearby, or look for the videos as they come available after the event. And then I won't be at UberConf, I will be at We Are Developers. I just booked my trains today. I should be there from Wednesday evening onwards to until Sunday. And then go find me there if you want to learn about how to upgrade your applications to maybe a newer Java version. And then finally, I think we have one more link, I believe. No, that's all the links that we have. So be sure to look for our YouTube videos that you see available. And then, yeah, we'll keep you, as always, posted on anything that is new this week. So then on to the main topic for this week, which is that we're going to have a look at third-party recipe libraries. Now, you've maybe seen a preview of some of that over the past couple of editions, where we at some point had Rick on to highlight the recipes developed at Picnic, and we've had some other folks on, and we'll have some other folks on. But today we're just going to have a broader look at the wider community that is developing OpenRewrite recipes, and even beyond the folks that work at Modern or work on the OpenRewrite org. For that, I'm going to take you through maybe just a couple of the steps that we see when folks are looking to develop new recipes, and how those start out, maybe get adopted, and from there get a wider distribution. And for that, I'm going to take you to some of the recipes that in the past were started out separately and have now become part of OpenRewrite. But I'll share a couple of slides again. Yeah, which is this one. So if you have been with the project for a while, you will probably have seen that we have greatly grown the number of recipes that we have available in Modern. If you now go to app.modern.io and you log in, you will see at the very top there that we now have, I think, over 2,500 recipes available, very close to 2,600, just 6 more and we'll remember there. And you can run those against some 45,000 open source projects. But when I first joined the project, that's some 3 years ago now almost, I think we only had 800 recipes, maybe 600-700, and somewhere in that range. And we've only been able to grow to this many recipes with help of the community, folks contributing to the projects and writing recipes, maybe developing their own internal recipe libraries that they later contributed to the project. And for that, we're going to look at a couple of examples very quickly, because we think these might be interesting for you to see that flow of adoption, and maybe develop your own recipe libraries going forward that could similarly be adopted to the project. So the first one is probably my very first large set of recipes that I worked at on OpenRewrite, which is to help migrate the Cucumber JVM project. I developed these while I didn't work at Modern. I was still a consultant at my last job, and we were struggling to help modernize, I think, some 50 applications that we had. All of them had Cucumber JVM tests, which is a project that I also was involved with at the time. But we could either try to do that work by hand across a couple of days, Or, and this is, you can probably tell this went well, I convinced my manager to let me help automate the migrations that we had to do in the same span of day, and then contribute those recipes back. So this was a lot more fun for me to do than to upgrade 50 projects by hand. And I remember doing this on a Greek island while I was working remotely over the summer. And I just was able to contribute these recipes. And then while they started out externally, they were adopted into the OpenRewrite.org, and they are now part of the suite of recipes that we release every 2 weeks. Or you can make sure that these are available using the latest versions of OpenRewrite, and can help you migrate your Cucumber JVM projects. So really need to look back on where I started 2 years ago with a large contribution to the project after having been involved for another year. So that is one set of recipes, but we have a couple more, such as the recipes related to test containers. These were similarly started externally. I believe the folks at Test Containers, Edu in particular, developed these recipes. But they were maintaining them under the Test Containers org, and that also meant that they didn't get updated whenever a new major version of OpenRewrite came out, which kind of led to a bad experience. So we, together with Edu, we pulled these recipes into the OpenRewrite org as part of the rewrite testing frameworks library that we have, such that now they are maintained and released with us, such that folks are better able to make sure that they are using the very best practices related to test containers. And hopefully in the near future, help migrate to a new version of test containers that does not contain the JUnit 5 dependency, which is a pain point they have there. And we look forward to working with them to help folks migrate. So next up, we have another recipe module, which we also started externally, which is the Rewrite Jenkins. This was developed by a good friend of ours, Steve Hill, and he actually started it by forking our rewrite recipe starter, which is, if you go to Modern.inc, rewrite recipe starter, you can get started writing your own recipes, and that's exactly what he did. And we then put these into the OpenRewrite org after he'd been working on this for his own on his own for a while. And then we helped polish it up, make it available, and continue to support this project going forward, even getting Steve in as a contributor to the project, such that he's still able to do all the things he needs to do whenever he wants to export these recipes. So very pleased to have him join the project. And there's also now a Google Summer of Code project, where they are looking to expand this set of recipes to help maintain all the 2,000 plus Jenkins plugins that are available, again, with OpenRewrite recipes. So we look forward to expanding that still. And I think we'll see that recipe catalog of ours grow very quickly with the help of the folks there. So those are some recipe modules that we have already integrated, even though they started external. But there's also been a couple of recipes that we have contributed to projects elsewhere, which have not been pulled into the OpenRewrite. So that's a slightly different category. But if you look at the Git blame, you can probably tell that this is just me again. It's just I wasn't involved at the time. But here I kind of knew the folks from Axon Framework, and they had a very detailed migration guide. And as I read the migration guide, I thought, I can automate this in just an hour. And that's exactly what I did in a morning, just to explain to folks that this is the thing you can do. And if you know how to do it, then it is very easy to do so. And I was lucky enough to be able to contribute this to their project, such that if you now go there, you can see exactly the steps that you can do to help you adopt to a fork they had in their project, going either staying on the JavaX or going to Jakarta, and the steps needed to go in between those two. And this is a complete migration. And it's very neat to see that fully implemented with just the rewrite recipe YAMLs that are available. So
You love to
I'll link
see
out
it.
to this. Yeah.
So since you contributed kind of the first version of these recipes, excuse me, for them, Tim, have the Axon framework maintainers been continuing to publish recipes as they publish new versions of the framework?
So that's quite interesting. They are, yes, they have been releasing new versions, and I've been sure to help keep the recipes compatible with the new versions that they release. But they are in tandem working on a very large version 5 of their framework, which is still on a branch. It's not in the main branch. I think they have a conference coming up at the end of the summer. Probably there's going to be a lot of breaking changes. And of course, we gave them all the tools they need to get their users moving from version 4 to version 5. So
if you're attending that conference, be sure to emphasize to the authors of that library in person how much you desire and appreciate migration recipes being provided out of the box. I love seeing even just baby steps or initial steps being taken towards a world where the authors of frameworks and libraries help keep all of their users up to date, rather than the burden of breaking changes falling upon the users who use the libraries.
Yes, and the neat thing here is that I haven't yet been at their conference, but 2 years in a row I was the top external contributor to the framework, just by the first year.
Sounds like you're owed an invitation now, right? Like if you're the top contributor, you get a speaker slot for free, right?
I should be doing something with their framework over the summer to again get be the top external contributor to the framework. But I don't know if they come out with that version 5 soon enough, then I'll have my recipes I can help them with. And otherwise, they need to figure out something else. So we'll see. But this is quite neat. These are recipes maintained at the Axon framework repository themselves. So if you want to run this, you can look for the migration guides that they provide on their wiki, or we have pulled these into a OpenRewrite third-party recipe library. So if you go to this one, OpenRewrite and rewrite third-party, then you can see that we have pulled in these recipes from the Axon framework to make these available for you more easily, such that they are now part of the doc that we publish. And then that's not the link to the docs, the doc that we can contribute, and then next on. And you now get the instructions on how exactly to run these recipes to get you moving between various versions. So that's a neat new development that we have to make it easier for folks to be sure that they, whenever they find a recipe library, are able to run those recipes with the correct versions of the Maven and the Gradle plugin, with the latest versions of any dependencies that might be in there, such that they have a better experience rather than finding some dusty old set of libraries that won't work as well with the latest versions of OpenRewrite. So yeah, have a look at that. And then that's one example, but I've been a bit active in the past with Wicked as well. So the Apache Wicked project, maybe if you've been doing Java and in particular server-side front-end development with Java for a while, then 10, 15 years ago, Apache Wicked got some traction. And it's still maintained. It's still a reasonable choice if you want to do server-side development with Java. And if you want to migrate from their version 9 to their version 10, of course, there's recipes to help you there. So if you want to go to github.com/apache/wicked, they have a migration module where you can see, again, all the steps that we have taken to help migrate those folks to the latest version of Apache Wicked. And again, this one is integrated in the rewrite third-party module to just make it easier for you to help adopt and find these recipes. So you can find them in our docs and use them in nothing. Now, similarly, of the last two that we have integrated into the rewrite third-party module, there's also recipes to migrate from Opta Planner to Timefold. which again is a friend of mine running the Timefold project, which he started himself and then forked himself after it was abandoned by his employer. And he's now running a company to help folks migrate to his fork away from Optoplan, such that you get, I think, a 2x performance improvement in how quickly you're able to help predict maybe a lesson plan or a conference schedule or routing your vehicles across a grid. And all of that just by upgrading and migrating away from an older version. So very neat to see how easily this now is to migrate fully. And he also has a video where he shows exactly that, both the performance improvement and how to migrate in under a minute with just OpenRewrite recipes, which we all know about. So glad to see
Looks
that.
like a really cool project. I should mess with that.
It is a ton of fun. If you go here, they have a number of quick starts where they
have you used that? Have you used Timefold to solve anything interesting yourself, Tim?
I have not yet, no. But I know the things it's capable of, and when I have that use case, I will definitely explore it. So they have vehicle routing, maintenance scheduling, order picking, scheduling. It's just a lot of complicated use cases suddenly solved using, again, open source software, which is just
so it's like a constraint solver.
Yep, exactly that. And now twice as fast as the last iteration that they had. Pretty good.
Nifty.
So yeah, recommend having a look there as well. And again, we make these recipes available to help you adopt this if you were coming from the plan. Good evening. And then the last one I want to call out is the folks at Quarkus. Again, friends of ours. I've been on their show, but they haven't yet been on our show. But they are also developing recipes to help folks migrate between versions of Quarkus. And those recipes we have, again, made available from our docs, from our OpenRewrite and Maven and Gradle plugins, such that if you are using something other than the Quarkus CLI to migrate, you're maybe using Gradle, then you are well set to run those recipes to help get your projects moving. And especially so if you want to use the Modern CLI, so the Modern platform, to help you migrate those projects, then you can use these exact same recipes as you see here to help you migrate to newer versions there. So that's really neat to have all these recipes and then make them more easily available to our users. So that's a very quick overview to this list of projects that I had. But of course, there is a larger set that we could still talk to.
Yeah, and if you in the audience have worked on a recipe module that is open source, let us know about it. Like, come show off what you've done, in the comments on YouTube or in the community Slack. We're always interested to hear what people are making recipes for, and to see how it's going.
Yeah, absolutely. But then one other we've talked to this before, where we have taken the refaster template developed at Picnic and make those available as OpenRewrite recipes, where you can see that they have this set of refaster rules that they have defined to help you either maintain and modernize your applications and maybe standardize on using just one way of saying that a string is empty or not. Then we have converted these refaster templates to OpenRewrite recipes, so that you can now run them just as you do any other recipes with OpenRewrite. Where you can take that same set of string rules and now apply them against your own projects. So pretty pleased with that. And I want to show a couple more examples of things that we haven't yet integrated, because they might be quite specific. For that, I'm going to take you through just a couple more links. The first one here is a recipe library from the folks at Microsoft, where they want to help you migrate your Azure Spring applications. So this is a project that I discovered because they popped up in our open source Slack. If you have any recipe authoring questions, then of course that's the best place to reach us. And they showed up, and it kind of became clear that these are things they were working towards. And they also did some contributions back to us to help us improve and better support the use cases that they have, such that folks who are using Spring on Azure are now able to migrate their applications more easily. So quite pleased to see, but this is not yet something that we have integrated. So if you have this very particular use case, this is something to maybe have a look at on their docs to how exactly to run those in particular. So they recommend here to either add the plugin with the dependency or run it as a single command. But these are recipes that are available. Then if you have that use case, then definitely go check this out. And another one that we similarly came across, because they showed up in our Slack, and we now know that they are working towards this, is this migration for folks that are using the Java SDK for AWS, where there is a launch upcoming version 2 of that SDK with a set of breaking changes that you will need to adopt if you want to continue using the AWS SDK, but now need to adapt to the V2 that they have there. And for that, they are working on a launch release here, where you can see that they are some 31 commits ahead. The last one some 20 hours ago. To once released, help you migrate from version 1 of their SDK to version 2. All of it through OpenRewrite, just through familiar commands that you know by now. And of course, once this is available in a release, we will integrate this into our rewrite third party if the license allows, and then from there, help you migrate using this particular set of recipes maintained by folks at Amazon. So please see those. And then similarly, the folks at Red Hat have developed a set of windup rule sets, where if you want to migrate between different versions of JavaX and Jakarta through the JBoss windup set of rules that they've developed, or you have a use case to migrate from Quarkus to Spring Boot, they have some recipes to help you there. And all of that is available through their windup rule sets, where you can explore the recipes that they already have, all of them familiar looking YAML recipes available that you can just as easily copy for your own use cases if you want to use these particular set of recipes to help migrate your projects. And then beyond that, there's another interesting one that I came across, and I will share with you after the show. And in particular, I will share this with Shannon because I know he was looking forward to this. Where if you are using maybe the Gradle Enterprise plugin on your projects, then you know that they have recently rebranded that to Velocity. And that is, of course, something that will take some while to cascade through all of your projects. In our OpenRewrite community has forked our rewrite recipe starter and developed some recipes to help folks migrate from the older Gradle Enterprise plugin to the newer Velocity recipe plugin using OpenRewrite recipes. So this is something that we're going to reach out and probably adopt because it's a use case that we have internally as well. All our OpenRewrite repositories use Gradle Enterprise or Velocity or a mix of those.
Yeah, they very kindly provide Develocity to open source projects, including ours. So thanks to Gradle for running our Develocity instance. And yeah, we should absolutely merge this recipe into rewrite Gradle so that everyone can easily benefit from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just a recent find where you go look for forks of the rewrite recipe starter, and you come across this one. And I think it's pretty neat. We'll polish this up and see it through. So that's already showing you some modules that started out externally, were adopted, and then next showing you recipes that are started externally and will probably remain external. We've shown you some recipe modules that are under active development still. And then next up, I want to share two efforts, which are part of a larger collaborative effort, which we're aiming to migrate into rewrite testing frameworks once we are further along these efforts. So one of them here is from a GitHub user, Philson, who's been quite active reporting and fixing issues for the past couple of weeks, who is looking to help migrate folks from TestNG to JUnit 5 and the assertions there. And then he has a set of work that needs to be done still. And then from there, once it's further along, we hope to adopt this into the rewrite testing frameworks, where there's also been some other recent developments to help more folks move from TestNG to AssertJ. And then, of course, hope this comes together with some other work which has a bit longer history to it from our friend and Merlin Bogushausen, who has similarly been trying to get folks to move from TestNG to JUnit Jupyter. So these are two modules of recipes that are under active development. We're going to help them out and hope to adopt these into the OpenRewrite org of recipes, such that everyone can more easily find and run these recipes and be sure that they will be maintained going forward as part of the what we do here at Madrid. So that's looking forward to all of that. So that is then the an overview of ongoing recipes that are we're looking to adopt in the near future. And then beyond that, of course, like I said before, if you want to develop your own set of recipes and maybe similarly see those adopted, then we do recommend that you go to modern.inc/rewrite recipe starter. And from there, start a fork, look at some of the existing recipes, script those out, and start to develop your own recipes that you might want to contribute to help folks either migrate a project that you are already working on, or help you sorry, I lost the train of thought, or migrate a project you're already working on, or something that could be internal that you don't plan to contribute back. So that's a very high overview of ongoing efforts in the wider community to help maintain, develop and maintain OpenRewrite recipes. And if you want to see a more rough draft of what else is out there, then I also have an issue log against the OpenRewrite rewrite docs. If you go here, you can see that there's various externally developed recipe libraries. Some of them for maybe Eclipse storage or Eclipse data store to help you migrate between versions there. There's even some recipes if you are developing plugins for Atlassian, and they also have similarly recipes to help you migrate their SDK changes. But this is a very rough list of recipes available out there, which could be interesting if you have a particular need and you wanted to see a quick overview of things available out there that I haven't yet dove into in detail on this call, such these recipes for Morphia and other technologies I still in there. So that is a brief overview of things going on, showing you the whole path of how you can develop recipes yourself, maybe start them out on your own GitHub org, and then gradually see those adopted, either as something that you continue to maintain and we make available more widely through the Rewrite third-party project, or something that we adopt into the OpenRewrite org, such that we can help you maintain those recipes going forward and really see them used widely for everyone that has a similar use case there. So I hope that's been helpful to you. That's pretty much everything I wanted to show you for this particular edition. But I hope that you take from it that there is a lot more recipe development out there than the things that we typically cover on the show here. But if you have a particular use case that we haven't yet featured in our docs, it doesn't yet say that there's nothing out there. It might just be that it's not something that we are aware of or involved with. But there's a lot more community to it than just what we do here at Madrid.
Yeah, and if you're working on a recipe that you think would be of interest to other people, definitely let us know so that we can highlight it in the community Slack and our socials and in these weekly office hours. We would love to hear that you had made a recipe to migrate or do something for some library that is not one that we already cover.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the most fun aspects of my job is when folks chime into the open source Slack. They ask if there's a recipe for a certain technology. I regrettably have to tell them there's not yet a recipe for it. And then within a week, we have a recipe for it because they got involved, maybe wrote some tests, and from there kickstarted development. And that is how we very quickly grow our recipe catalog to 2,500 recipes now. And I look forward to what it's going to be a couple months from now, maybe a year from now. Hope that you'll consider helping out.
Yeah.
So that's it, I think, for this week. Don't yet know what we're going to talk about next week, but we are going to do a slightly rebranding where instead of calling community office hours, it will now be the Code Remix Weekly. So whatever your favorite platform is to watch the show on, be sure to update to looking for the Code Remix Weekly. And we'll be announcing and sharing that through our regular socials, such that it should be pretty hard to miss. So look forward to seeing you there. And then that's it for this week. So enjoy and hope to be in touch.
Thanks a lot, everyone. See you then. Bye.
Bye.